Good evening. Nathan White, Donna Harrison, and Scott Burdick will be discussing a case study involving Herman Miller, a furniture manufacturing company. An overview of the furniture industry. The demand for office furniture is driven by the world economy, which it can depend on recessions and also corporate profits. Of course, the cost of raw materials is going to play a factor in the demand for office furniture, depending on the commodities and how much each raw materials are costing. Of course, commercial office and construction and vacancy rates also play an important role. The industry has a low market share concentration. 4 of the main companies actually only make up 18.1% of the 2014 industry revenue, which leaves a lot of room for smaller companies that have a small market share but make up the majority of the industry. Since most companies create similar products, these companies are going to compete mostly on prices. Other areas where competitors in this industry compete is product design, branding, relationship with dealers, customers, and designers. Of course, the 2008 recession was difficult for the furniture industry, as it was for many other industries. And also foreign entrants have made it difficult for the U.S. furniture industry to be able to stay competitive. Coupled with the recession, it has increased difficulty. Despite these problems, though, the industry is actually slated to continue to grow over the next few years. One of the Herman Miller's major problem is retrenchment. Retrenchment worked during the recession because sales were slow, so the company had to cut workers and sell facilities in order to stay viable and profitable. The problem, though, is now that we are out of this recession, if left unchecked, this retrenchment will actually cause the company many more problems moving forward. Those including a growth decline, of course, because they're not making more products, smaller workforce, the inability to meet consumer demands with smaller workforce, lack of diversity, and a decrease in profitability. The reduction of the company's scope of operations leads to reduced revenue due to decreased economy of scale and may cause irreparable damage to the business. Since the recession has now subsided, though, Herman Miller does need to generate revenue with new innovations and changing the product portfolio and their market position. It's important that Herman Miller embrace a new direction. Some of the critical sub-problems would be the debt-to-equity ratio. The ratio provides information on how much of the company's equity is financed by shareholders compared to creditors. A lower debt-to-equity ratio can imply a stable business. Every dollar shareholders of Herman Miller own, Herman Miller owes $3 to creditors. This is a problem. It means Herman Miller is more dependent on creditors than shareholders to finance the company. Another problem is the just-in-time. Multiple daily deliveries are common with Herman Miller, which has the potential to conflict with Herman Miller's core value of being environmentally conscious, not to mention the time wasting. So there are some alternative strategies, some alternative strategies to solving. There are, however, some alternative strategies for solving some of these major problems. There are alternative strategies to solving Herman Miller's major problem. One such alternative strategy is market development, which is introducing present products or services to a new geographic area. Herman Miller should start beginning in India, should begin manufacturing in India, since they do already have manufacturing in China. India is a growing, emerging economy with over 1 billion people. Of course, the advantages of this would be able to compete with foreign competitors and their low wages. Of course, manufacturing and emerging companies will also lower the cost of goods sold as well. Some of the disadvantages is difficulty in managing cultures in different countries. That can become tricky as you begin manufacturing in multiple countries around the world. Government regulations and bureaucracy are always difficult when you're not dealing with one government, but rather several. So implementation, human resource management, of course, is going to be involved in hiring the employees, and more notably the managers that will be operating and running these facilities in the other countries. You not only need to have a representative from Herman Miller, but you also need to have local managers that are able to manage the people. And of course, legal is going to be involved in ensuring that the foreign laws and regulations are strictly enforced and followed. It can become tricky. Another strategy is backward integration, which is seeking ownership or increased control of a firm's suppliers. Herman Miller should purchase the company Maharam Fabric Company. A lot of their fabric already comes from India and China, which means it's cheaper. And also the name recognition it has Maharam as one of the best quality fabric companies in the industry. Advantages, of course, we buying local suppliers in the U.S. Herman Miller can compete better with the foreign entrants and lower those costs. Responsive customization or change to products, of course, and taking away competitors' possible suppliers. Some of the disadvantages is, of course, the cost of increasing the labor force, the overhead, of course, increasing, thus increasing net revenue requirement, and the logistics of merging two independent companies can always be tricky. The implementation will be legal, as well as accounting and finance, as you deal with the purchase of another company and working through the acquisition structure. A third alternative strategy is horizontal integration, which is seeking ownership or increased control over competitors. Herman Miller should purchase Internum, which is a high-end furniture company. One thing Herman Miller lacks is a luxury brand in furniture. Internum would appeal to those emerging new countries like China, India, and Russia, and appeal to those more wealthy customers. The advantages of this is eliminating competition and increasing market share. Utilizing a purchased company's superior products will propel the Herman Miller brand, which is really the ultimate reason for purchasing a company. The disadvantage of purchasing a competitor is the logistics of merging competing companies. Equity and capital as well, of course, are going to be needed. And opening the market to another competitor. When you purchase a competitor and there's no competitor left, you're now opening the door for another competitor to come in. So for implementation, human resource management and legal will once again be the most involved in ensuring that the seamless transition, especially between these local competitors. Next, Nathan White is going to talk about the control system, feedback, and backup solution. Thank you.